There's an echo in the canyon, a reflection on the sound. When I'm really looking, I can hear you all around.
Camera comes down, balloons go up. We are celebrating, and I have such wonderful guests and co-host, co-producer sitting to my right. I guess that's your left. And this is Sandra. No, their left.
Oh, their left. Their left.
Yes. Oh, that's so good. And Sandra, you know, the getting to be well-known poet back from Ireland is the poet laureate of Old Saybrook. Wait for it, that's the next town. How wonderful is that? And as I gently swim off into a Long Island sunset, making room and hoping that she will lend her talents and her fantastic international experience to continuing for the next 10 years the iteration called Art of Poetry. I am so blessed, happy, euphoric today, even ecstatic, because we've become fast friends.
Yes.
And like
in every
Victor,
parking lot where we meet.
it's so true.
It
like
is true.
CVS.
Yes.
Oh, Sandra, she's talking. Oh, yes. And who's talking to whom? And oh my God, I know him. It's just wonderful, a small town. Except if you listen to Simon and Garfunkel's Everything's Dead and Dying in My Small Town. That's a toughie, but you know what? They are the gurus of the 70s who speak to me with lyrics of pure lyrical poetry. That's my context, gentlemen and ladies.
I love it. And I want to just also say congratulations to you
Thank
on your amazing, amazing run and curation
Thank
of
you.
the art of poetry.
That's the word I love.
I love that word too, curation. And it's a true honor to have been a guest and to now be sharing the stage or the couches with you.
And soon to sometime in the fall or spring.
Take the mantle and advance your good work.
I can't tell you how heartwarming that is from you, because I couldn't, anyone on the East Coast, except perhaps if Victor moved to.
Right. I felt like Victor was
He's got
like
it.
ahead, but yes,
He's got it. He's got everything.
of course.
And I'm teaching him.
What are they talking about?
We're talking about you.
I don't think so. Go
There's
ahead.
not another Victor that I know of.
No, not with that big head and
Oh my gosh.
and brilliance. I mean, the brilliance just upstages me every time he's on. But boy, do I need him. Yeah, and have needed him the last year or so with challenges. Well, two horse,
Giddy up, giddy up.
and Elon. I
Yes.
gotta retrain myself. Mahar.
listen,
I
you
can
know,
sell the I can say the mahar because it reminds me of Russian, you know. Хорошо.
Right, хорошо.
Yeah, I can say that. Dear Ilan, we are thrilled to share our reactions. And one of the questions I would pose now would be, and please feel free to pose many questions to dear Sandra. She's the pro. I would defer to her to answer your up-and-coming, fabulous career prospects. And where was I going with that? See,
I think you're going to be showing Ilan's book to our
you see,
dear
while it's time to
viewers.
pass the mantle. But I wanted to say the question to leave with you, Ilan, is what are your plans for spoken word performance? Because I was touched by 2 readings of this book. The second one, much deeper and much more appreciative of not proverbial between the lines stuff, although I will say between your lines, Ilan, are the deepest compassion for humanity and for the general public. So your audience, even though you're quite erudite and make some wonderful, wonderful literary allusions which thrill me, in between your tender lines is such a deep compassion for humanity. And that's what I look for. I have a couple of mentors, gurus. I'd like to say Sandra has become my mentor, teaching me.
Mutual.
Thank you. It is really a sonnet song that we sing
Oh my
together.
gosh, our sonnet debut together.
She taught me the permutations and, well, not chicanery, but the creative magic of modern contemporary sonnets. And I'm an old fuddy-duddy. Shakespeare, allow me 2 lines, maybe
Oh,
3.
please. The whole poem would be fantastic if you can do it.
That time of year thou mayest in me behold, when yellow leaves, or none, or few, do hang upon those boughs which shake against the cold. Bare ruined choirs where late the songbirds sang. He thrills me, chills me, and as Emily Dickinson said, don't leave home without him. No, she said, if it takes the top of your head off, it's approaching poetry that makes you so cold, nothing in the world could ever warm you. We're about passion, folks. So let it flow, let it rip. Ilan, I love your title, Plaything.
I do. I certainly do also.
Where did it come from?
Well, this collection was not something that I initially conceived of as an entire book. I mean, I don't need to tell you guys that some poetry collections you compose with an eye on an entire book, and others happen to be more, not quite miscellany, but greatest hits, if you will, of poems that through the years have found homes in journals and that you realize you really like and you want to see in book form. And that was the case with this book. And so what I was trying to think of was the most abstract noun that I could that would encompass all of the subjects in the book. And so Playthings fit the bill as such an abstract noun. And then coincidentally, it happened also to be a title of one of the poems.
Yes.
So that's how I came to it.
So it's kind of even above when you have like that word cloud or that compendium that calculates the number of times you use a word.
Ooh.
This is
Yes.
even a higher elevation than that, than the word cloud, to be using like playthings as the umbrella to the book. And I want to just add, I think that you touched on something that is a very robust conversation in contemporary poetry. I've been having this conversation with a number of poets as they're putting collections together, whether something has to have a narrative arc or a plan to it, or as in other countries, in Ireland, for instance, the collections of people's poems are sort of that true collection. And we're seeing that less and less, I think, in the United States from presses. And so I'm so glad to hear you talk about, I put together a collection and hear you talk about it in the way that I was used to reading poetry collections, where they were sort of in your mind, your greatest hits, or just what you wanted to have together in a collection, rather than what my chapbook is, which is a project book.
Yeah.
So I find that really compelling and quite delicious, and I love how the title adds to the dimension of that and encourages that.
I would second that. I'm thrilled with it as an extended metaphor. I was playing with it myself. I was thinking of all kinds of connections that I could label as playthings. And the first one is words. Oh, listen, Ilan, you're a master of wordplay. And I loved that, playing with words. And second thing, playing with figures of speech, which grow from words.
Yeah.
But enough of our theory.
Let's hear some poems. Yeah.
Yes. I'm going to ask you to read, Ilan, but I'd like Sandra, off the top of her head, to read 545 Bus. This is a good introduction to you, to your oeuvre, to your strength, to your power of observation.
545 Bus. Defiers of hypnos we board when folding doors hiss open, muttering commonplaces to a dozy driver. Transit cards clack the fare box, petty percussion in a dirge for daylight, drum taps for a dawnless December morn.
Wow.
We squeeze, scarved and jacketed, into seats, tacitly consent to strangers' hips and elbows touching our own, silent as siblings scolded for domestic miscues, crumbs left unswept, dirt tracked inside. At this time of year, Mars and Neptune also appear neighborly, though they're billions of miles apart. Talk about all the delicious sounds in this poem.
Delicious alliteration.
Oh my gosh.
Off the top of your hat there, top hat.
Right, my hat's off to you, Ilan,
Yes.
for this
Thank
poem.
you.
Right, verbal music, yep.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that first. I think poetry is music. Ever since Homer, we had to know our poems by heart to continue before even written language in some cultures, right? All the words come from speech, conversation. And yet you've kept a wonderful, not pedestrian, but everyday kind of colloquial speech.
And I love how the poem moves, like the bus is in motion.
Yeah.
And it's just doing its work.
Sound by sound.
And word by word
Yeah.
is boarding the bus. The bus is boarding the poem. Everything in the poem is boarding. And it's making me think of my favorite poet also, Elizabeth Bishop, and her poem, The Moose, where all of the village people are on that bus and they stop and they wait for a bus. Like the way that your bus is percussive, but like, but Bishop's bus kind of lumbers through the villages, as opposed to this one is really in motion. And of course, how the strangers, their hips and elbows, right, remind me again of how when we're contained in the bus, we're hardly strangers for long, because we're having a shared experience of what's on the inside of the bus and what we're viewing in the outside world through those windows.
So what about the smells and the sense of being crammed in on a Tucson bus where I've gone many times, and the perfumes and so on? Victor, did this one get you?
This was my first acquaintance with it, but I immediately saw all the, appreciated all the, vowel harmonies, alliteration, that kind of thing. It has a real rhythm to it. I think you must have taken a lot of buses.
And enjoyed it, apparently.
I sure do.
Well, Elon, that's our kickoff. You are a star already.
Love it.
But I want to hear your voice, the spoken word poem. What's your favorite sound poem besides this one? This one did it for me musically.
I'm going to read the one called I Sugared Your Sorrows.
Oh. Yes.
Here we go. Here we go. I sugared your sorrows for 99 cents. The first time we were alone, after the dust speck inside you spilled out, slapping toilet water, a discharge of bloody yolk, a pebble's plash, belying lasting grief. Pulpy, stringy, filmy, fibrous, a texture only you have felt. Particle, granule, minuscule, needlepoint.
Ooh.
Michaelmas term lately over, you quipped composedly, before sending me out to buy you some peanut butter cups.
Wow.
Oh my gosh,
That's over the top as well.
the surprise of the peanut butter cups.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. But you know what's so interesting about this poem, for me, just hearing you read it, is in the difference between how in 545 the bus, I really felt as the bus was moving, there was a lightness to it. And here I was really feeling kind of the heaviness of each line. Like it felt more weighted as we moved through the poem.
Yes.
Because there was that line about grief, and the heaviness felt like the holding of the grief.
And the sugar of the sorrows
Yeah.
is so beautiful a contrast to be used. Victor.
Yeah, there are a lot of heavy beats in it. I think I heard it was but a few spondies, I would say. So there are a lot of successive emphasized syllables. That's part of doing it.
Thank you, Elon. That is just
You bet.
so.
Can we see the cover of Elon's book?
Yeah. You know, the other
Get a
thing I
close-up.
wanted to mention
Here we are.
is the word itself that's in the poem, texture. Like the poem has like such a specific texture with all of these adjectives, and then you move to nouns, and I love how the nouns, particle, granule, minuscule, needlepoint, like you get
Whoa.
right to it.
Yeah.
It gets smaller and smaller and smaller as every image keeps expanding the meaning of the poem.
Tell me what texture is in your approximation. How would you define it for our general listener, our general reader? After all, my viewers all over Westbrook and 9 towns locally. It's a collaboration, a wonderful arrangement. They tune in Monday nights at 8. You'll be on. Oh, yes, Elon, you'll be on Monday at 8. I stopped to tell my neighbor. She was sitting out saying. And also internationally on our wonderful video on demand 24/7. That's a pretty cool deal. Ain't technology wonderful?
Well,
Sometimes.
I'm really curious about in this poem, because I can see it, it's in front of me,
Yeah.
that each of these lines is its own stanza. And we have a line in regular type, and then we have a backslash, and the rest of the line is in italics for every single line. And there's so much in this poem that's about interior and exterior. That's like folded into the poem. And I'm wondering if that idea of utilizing the italics is playing off of that idea of what's interior and what's in the world, the tactile world. I'm just really curious about
Yeah.
that structure there.
Well, it might, for people in the audience who only heard this poem for the first time today, it might not be the easiest thing to understand what it's about. But in one word, this poem is about a miscarriage.
Yep.
And specifically the speaker of the poem is the partner of the person who has the miscarriage.
Yeah.
And in a situation like that, you have someone who this is ripping her apart on the inside, and there is someone else who, no matter how close to her he is going to be exterior to it, and can only get so close.
Right.
And I'm sure you noticed, Sandy, that when I read it, I didn't read it the way it appears in the book.
Right.
Because when I was practicing how to read this, it occurred to me that it only makes sense in a spoken word way if I do the left side, the non-italic side first, and almost kind of read it as if it's biblical columns instead of outright left to right.
Yeah.
But to a reader, there's a kind of simultaneity when you sort of process it all at once, because you can sort of understand that it's an exterior side and an interior side. But I think basically I wanted to convey the experience of being outside of something that is truly internal to someone you love.
Yeah, and it really, for me, collapses time. That sorrow and grief are incredibly expansive. They sort of defy time, and yet everything here is momentary. All the language in here, like the dust speck, the blood, the discharge of bloody yolk. It's just it's all those words. It's particle, granular, minuscule, needlepoint. Just a very precise moment in time of grief, which absolutely, in some ways, overwhelms and spills over into expansive time, because it cannot be quantified. It cannot be defined, by the clock in the moment.
Thank you, Sandy. That is just such an elucidation that I need. You're mentoring me again. And Victor, did you notice Elon's pacing?
Oh yeah, that's very hard to ignore. I noticed all those particle, minuscule, all those 3-syllable words with the absent on the first. So it's always like a dying fall, word after word. which
Thank
also
you,
conveys the
Ilan.
feeling.
Yeah, Ilan, you just masterfully use the pause, the silence in between each step,
Yeah.
each stage. And that just, it was honey to my tongue. You know, Victor and I have had a mentoring mutual relationship where I'm helping him. Slow down, my friend. You have such good things to say, but say them slowly for our audience who are 80 like me and trying to comprehend. So, Ilan, thank you for pointing out the difference between the spoken word and being able to see the poem. On other poems which we have, we put them up on screen. So we had one already, and the audience at home can do that. But we're going to take a short break in a minute. But Ilan, I want to leave you with another question. Sandy and I have also, in our mutual mentoring, had such abstract but satisfying descriptions. She said to me the last time we got together, you know, extrapolating from all my experience and everything that I've read, and that's prodigious, I really think that all poetry, of course, generalizations on abstractions are dangerous. All of it's about the topic of time, the subject of time. And here you are again, noting that beautifully essential. And I would add, since we're in a mutual relationship of mentoring and growth, thank you, I would add, but it's about love. My college roommate, Joe Esposito, the same class as Victor and I, we're best buddies from, the 60s, said, Frank, what's poetry about anyway? I said, love, instantaneous answer, not a thought. And I would submit, Sandra, from this day forward, that poetry is about love and time.
Love and time.
And the mutuality. Oh my gosh, I think we've discovered something new. Eureka!
Their conversation with each other.
They're in conversation with each other. Victor, does
I'll
that...
disagree with you after the break.
Oh, good. I was going to say, Victor, does that pass mustard? For the hot dog?
Yes, pass the mustard.
Pass the mustard. I love that because we have here in Victor a mind that is so comprehensive in all his history and experience. He's a lover of history. I'm getting the high sign. God, I could go on for 8 hours. I'm so in heaven. So, break time.
Moving a town or the country requires time, patience, money, and most importantly, trust. With that in mind, Better Business Bureau Connecticut has the following tips. Do your
Wow.
research. Check to see if
wonder
the
if we can-
business is a member of the American Trucking Association, which includes both moving and storage businesses. Ask for proof of licenses, insurance, and registration with the Federal Department of Transportation. Get at least 3 quotes in person. Find out how and when payment is required. Movers should not be asking for large deposits up front. Consider documenting the condition of your items and make sure to take your valuables with you as well. BBB has more than 3,000 accredited movers. Find one at bbb.org.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. How to safely build a fire, and how to control the flames. But I can only teach wildfire prevention. Only you can prevent wildfires.
And so I
Yeah.
look forward to engaging with your work. Oh, here's Frank is back.
Okay, we're
Welcome.
back.
Yeah.
Okay, gotta stop the gossip.
Yeah.
Oh, gossip's good. We want to eavesdrop. What's going on
Yeah.
with the gossip? Oh, Ilan, I want to ask one thing. There's your book, and we're making a transition. Would you be a co-host for the next half hour as we go back and forth between books and compare and contrast, you know?
Absolutely, I would love to.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to ask you in a second what you may have cooking in your top hat about questions that you'd like to ask Sandra and me, because this is our first face-to-face, although distant. Come on up from New York, buddy. We'll do great things. But first, where was I going with that? But first, I think important that you ask any orientation question before we get into Sandra's. You know, what did you want to ask of the show, of us? What's happening?
Well, I just, Victor and I during the break were just talking about how wonderful it is that you, Frank, have sustained this show, and what great news it is that Sandy is going to carry the mantle. So, it's so I don't need to tell three other poets how difficult it can be to get poetry into a general conversation, how, so many people, their reading is currently limited to fiction or nonfiction. Of course, we all love those forms of writing too, but, I just wanted to say first and foremost that it's wonderful to have a television show that goes into so many communities that is devoted to poetry, and I'm honored to have been a guest today. And I think, the general question I would have for all three of you is, how would you say the subject matter that you've worked on has evolved over the years? I know for me, sometimes you go to a poetry reading and there are a lot of younger readers there, and it's all, stuff that's almost like ripped directly from their biographies. And I find as poets get older, they tend to sort of focus more on nature or things that they encounter day to day, or things that are just exterior to them. But I wondered if that was the case for you guys, and separately, as we all get older, the other thing that we encounter are the sad problems that occur with aging, whether it's disease or death or taking care of elders. And I wondered, how you've attempted to handle that in your poetry, whether simply trying to write about it has helped you process it.
Well, brother, you have hit so many nails on the head, to use that one. I'm so grateful, first of all, to have you as a guest, and honored, and that's the synchronicity of the universe providing through my dear, dear high school friend, Elaine Pillar Congress, East Hartford High School 59, and you have a distant relationship with her, and I'm so thrilled that she popped the question, would you? And here we are in our last show, and if you aren't a star witness, I don't know who is. I also wanted to give a little context here. You have written a novel, and it's out there and successful, and you are trying your hand at lyric poetry, and I'd say you have more than banged it out of the field.
Literally, I was thinking before you said that, smashed it out of the park.
Got it.
That was the words that were
Way
in my head.
back,
And then you said it
into
too.
the next county. And you know, I encourage you, man. You are not only up and coming, but you are well on your way in the horse race, such as it is. Thank you for those questions. I honor them. I'm thrilled with them. And Sandra can fold them in like a pancake as we get into Fire at the Big Top. So thank you, Victor, for being there. And I'm going to get to you in 1 second, but I just wanted to say thank you, Ilan.
Take your time.
Thank you, Ilan, for being here with your brain power as well as your creative talent, which is stunning to me. I loved your book.
Thank you.
The second time through, I was so deeply, found it scintillating, thrilling, and I'm going to recommend it to friends. So I think you're set. Now, I'd like to introduce this Fire at the Big Top and pass the baton, because Sandra has so much happening, but let's limit it to these 2 books that are coming out. You haven't had the benefit of seeing anything yet, and neither have I, but I may have seen one earlier. I do remember how she invited us, our little poets group, to decide on choices for the cover, and covers are important. Do you agree, Milan? Is it first sight that's counting, or is it the interior? That's one of my lasting questions. Sandra got 2 really good ones.
Do you want the Titanic one?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And this one, look at that one, The Unsinkable. Oh, what a title. Unsinkable. Now, both are available?
Lovely irony, yes.
Oh, and so, where do we go from here now on your publications?
Well, I'll just say that I've been touring. Unsinkable came out first. It's been out in Ireland and the UK for since April 10th it launched, which was the literal launching of the Titanic.
I will send one, to Victor, because Victor has a family connection to...
with Circus Fire, yes.
Yeah, I will send the Circus Fire and Unsinkable after I go through them. We'll save them.
I've been able to look at PDFs of both books, thank you very much. And,
Wow!
So I
way ahead.
appreciate whoever sent them. I was looking desperately for them and said, what do I have to read? Oh, there they are, okay. Stupid, you should have seen them further. Fire at the Big Top is such an amazingly coherent achievement, mainly because of the linked sonnets. I've never quite seen that device before, where the last line of one is worked into the first line of the next. So it reminds me once of some panted medieval Greek narrative poetry I heard, where they chopped off the end of one line to rush you into the next one. Kind of a intellectual sprung rhythm effect, though I'm not really using that term correctly. And the introductory poems, too. Sandra says she uses historic disasters to merge with and amplify the personal. And then she explained her father's connection to the Circus Fire. And I guess, how could you avoid doing that with that kind of family history? And
Yeah,
you've certainly done it.
It's I'll just give our audience members a little tip that what you noticed about how the last line of the sonnet becomes the first line of the next. It's called a sonnet crown, actually. And sometimes it's 7 poems, sometimes it can be up to 14, and or if it goes to a 15th, which I did not do here, you would have a final poem that is literally that takes the first line of every single one of the 14 to create a 15th poem.
Wow.
I did not do that. That's called like a heroic sonnet crown, a heroic crown.
That would be a heroic achievement.
It would be a heroic achievement, which is why I could not do it. It was interesting enough in the collection. What inspired me to write to do the sonnet crown was a poem that is the preface. It's called The Glassblower. My previous book was about my father's stained glass studio that we literally just finished dismantling and closing up and selling this week.
Yeah.
Like I'm coming from the closing yesterday.
Without sleep.
Without much sleep. And I went to an exhibit at the Museum of Glass in Tacoma, Washington, to see this exhibit by Bree Chesler called The Anatomy of Desire. And I wrote a poem, a sonnet. I was doing a workshop called The Glassblower, an ekphrastic poem based on that exhibit. And that originally was the first sonnet. And then I started writing others about the circus fire. And I realized to take out a first sonnet, I had to reconfigure quite a few things. And I did not write what you read, Victor. I did not actually write them in order. There were gaps, and so I had to fill the sonnet gaps in as I was writing it. And there's a final sonnet called, I should also mention, every single sonnet in The Crown is named after a circus performer.
Wow.
Yes.
Hence my top hat today, in homage to the ringmaster and the clown.
Wonderful.
And the final one is called The Fat Lady.
Oh.
And The Fat Lady is a sonnet that, of course, the last line is the first line of the very first sonnet. And along with that, as I wrote that sonnet, I didn't realize that I had overwritten it. And I wrote an 18-line sonnet. And I decided I was going to keep it and call it a fat sonnet.
Now there, Ilan, there is something for you because you have 2 14-line poems in that book. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, what Sandy's pointing out is something that you guys both know, which is sometimes you start with a form to get you going.
Yep.
And then, how the poem turns out, whether it's longer, shorter, a different kind of rhyming scheme, it turns out how it turns out.
Yeah.
But sometimes starting with the form is a fantastic exercise.
Mm-hmm. And that's what your purpose was with those 2 14 lines? Because I think I noticed Petrarchan and Shakespearean differences.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Way to go, man. That is so on. Victor, I'll have to share the book with you for sure because your eagle eye needs to get a good look at what he's playing with here. In playthings.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Especially now after you guys have been the conversation among yourselves. So I've learned so much about the sonnet form, and I think, Sandra, you are the queen of the sonnet, as I decide.
Well, I think there are many, many, many queens, as there should be.
I'm one.
As there should
I'm
be.
one.
Yeah, as there should be. I'm not sure I'm able to take that title, but it was a really amazing exercise.
Oh gosh, yes.
And it's also so interesting because The circus fire happened here in Connecticut. We talked about this on a previous episode.
Oh, yeah, great
the
show.
history of it.
Great show.
And the anniversary is coming up on July 6th. So I'm hoping to actually take the book and literally go to the site of the fire and read read some of the poems.
Oh, this
Not
is great.
as a public reading this time around, but just to pay homage.
Fantastic.
Just to pay homage.
Oh, that's great.
and,
really, really. I mean, memories, losses, griefs.
And in a way to kind of be, I don't know, to talk to the dead,
Oh, good.
I think.
Yeah. And Victor, was it grandmother?
Yeah, my maternal grandmother was in that fire. One of her daughters took her to the circus, none of them knowing what was going to happen. And she was a short, plump woman who couldn't walk very fast because of arthritis in her knees. And a lot of people were rushing past her, and she was worried about getting trampled in the rushing crowd, but she got out okay.
Yeah, there were a number of people who were, and my father was in the circus also. He was there that day with his aunt, and he was 8 years old. He was, at first, he had been sitting near the animal chutes, which a
Yes.
lot of people were crushed against the cages.
Exactly.
And that was where the most loss of life was. And
Terrible.
there's a poem in the book that kind of describes why he left that and went back to his seat to sit with his aunt. But had he not done that, it's very possible that he would have been one of the victims of the fire. And I'd always wanted to write about it. To get back to that original question,
Yeah.
my father only mentioned it a few times to me when I was little, and then again when I was 25. And very similar to the Titanic disaster, the survivors didn't often talk about their experiences unless they were specifically asked, and many were not asked until much later in their lives. We have the first book about the Titanic that, of note, A Night to Remember. The Titanic disaster happens in 1912, and the first notable book doesn't arrive until 1955 by Walter Lord, A Night to Remember, which also has a film attached to
Oh,
it
the
that's
film,
very well
yes.
known. And he was the first person to interview survivors for his book.
My goodness.
So my father really didn't talk about the fire, but once he did in my early 20s, I knew I wanted to write about it. But it took me a long time, just like it usually takes survivors a long time to kind of open up about it. So the final poem in the book is an erasure poem that I wrote in my 20s, and I was able to kind of resurrect it for this chapbook. And I was so glad that I had that opportunity to bring that original poem, the original impulse to write about the circus fire, into my present with writing about it, with the Sonnet Crown and other poems as well about his experiences at the fire.
So to answer Ilan's question about, okay, so what are we facing as we age? And what are we reminded of through our memories of events like this, of grief and the process of aging, which is full of surprises. If you didn't know that, you could surmise it quite handily because, everybody's got a grandparent and a parent who's aging, and the question is, okay, as a poet, so what? So Ilan, have you gone ahead in time, so to speak? Now that we talk about time and love and time as mutually in conversation, what is it that may pull you into the future about topics to choose. This is rhetorical, and just by the way of my saying to me, you know, I'm getting all kinds of bells in my body. Wake up! It's not much longer. And that is a very riveting moment. So what do we do? What did your father do? What did your grandmother do as time's scythe came closer? Well, I find myself as a poet writing sonnets. Oh no! The last thing I was proficient at or even interested in, except as a teacher or professor. God, I love those Shakespearean sonnets. Those are my heart. Those 156 sonnets of love. You know, that triangle, the dark lady, the beautiful youth, and Shakespeare. The speaker is having a field day. And, you know, one of that poem, 73, that time of year, which I recited, is, gee, you're noticing I got old. I got old to the young man. I got old. What are we going to do about that? I don't want to let you go, lose you, but I'm old now. I have had the most wonderful time playing with the sonnet form, playing with the Office of Aging.
Back to playthings.
Playthings. Wow. Sandra, what's your wisdom to impart as not a senior, but an experienced poet and now a poet laureate of Old Saybrook? But you know, your purview is the world. You are quite well-traveled. And Victor, at our tender age, Victor will be turning 85, correct?
Excuse me, 84.
Oh,
Yes.
I keep adding that year.
Don't have that year.
I'll be turning
Pushing me
85.
toward the grave, will you?
Oh, the grave, the grave, the grave.
Well, you know, the thing that I'm struck by from the conversation today and thinking about Ilan's poems and that convergence of love and time
Good.
is that really we write one love poem, but we really are I have written so many, which means that I'm always reaching for love. I feel
Yes.
like it's the subject that I'm never really going to be able to figure out because it moves through time.
Yes. Yes.
And so
Oh,
every time
Yes.
I sit down to write about it,
oh my.
it's like writing about it completely anew.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thrilling. Thank you.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's wonderful. You have nailed it again. So, what is your advice to Ilan on where to go, what to do, how to grow as a poet? That seems to be what's in the cards for you, because once you get this going, whoa, playthings. That's just a kickoff. That's really going to go with your talent. So where are you headed, man? And what can Sandra offer as having experienced, oh my God, we won't get into what she does daily? I don't know
Well, now
how.
you have to. That's a big market television tease. I mean, you can't just leave it out there.
Well, I host an international online program called Cultivating Voices Live Poetry. And we have 3 programs a month. And it started out as a Facebook group in COVID. And we have 5,600 members worldwide. So I'm often hosting the program, finding new voices and bringing them onto the program to share their work in different formats, a pure open mic, and sometimes it's what we call a new book showcase. So for instance, I'll be reading with a poet in South Florida, Lenny de la Roca, from a book he wrote called Pandemonium.
Oh.
And that's our topic for the reading a week from today. And the circus, of course, is pandemonium, is what happened. So I just encourage Ilana and anyone writing poetry, find your outlets and share your work wherever people will listen. And yeah, don't keep it bottled up inside. Get it out there. We all benefit from hearing each other's stories and hearing each other's stories of love and time.
Wow. That's a wrap, folks. I can't thank you enough. Victor Ivanowitz,
Yeah.
my buddy, Ilan Mohari,
Beautiful.
to be seen and heard from soon. And my dear Sandra, it's balloon time.
You're the best.
You're the best, folks. So, you may see me in fall in a different iteration. No time for a plug, so now it's dancing time. We'll have the balloons dance because my left foot is, you know that movie? My left foot.
And we'll have some animal crackers.
Oh, good. Gentlemen, my heartfelt...
Congratulations on a successful series.
Yes.
Yeah, great job. Congratulations. What an honor to be here today, and what a pleasure to meet you and talk to you. And I'm really looking forward to our paths crossing again as poets and as people.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Bye now.
Bye now.
If I'm gone tomorrow and you hear this song today, just remember there is love for